The Shadow of Halloween. Chapter 1. The Meeting. Halloween night always brought a sense of celebration and mystery to the small town. Jack White, an experienced detective, spent the evening at his desk reviewing old cases. Every year, it was the same, a person disappearing without a trace. He knew the killer was among them. But who? Jack decided to take a break and went to the local coffee shop, Hot Cup. He stepped inside and immediately felt the cozy atmosphere of the establishment. The smell of freshly brewed coffee and the muted conversations of patrons helped him momentarily forget his dark thoughts. Behind the counter stood Michael Harris, the barista and owner of the coffee shop, who greeted him with a friendly smile. "Good evening, Detective." "The usual?" Michael asked. "Yes, Michael." "Thank you," Jack replied, sitting at a table by the window. Michael skillfully prepared the ordered coffee and placed the cup in front of Jack. At that moment, Emma Stewart, a journalist for the local newspaper, walked into the cafe. She noticed Jack and approached him. "Hi, Jack. Any news?" she asked, sitting down opposite him. "Not yet, but I'm sure something will happen. This killer won't stop," Jack replied, taking a sip of coffee. Michael, eavesdropping on their conversation, offered his help. "If I can be of any help, let me know," he said, smiling. "I know everyone here and can tell you a lot." Jack and Emma exchanged glances and decided to take him up on his offer. Chapter 2. Waiting for the Unknown. Halloween passed quietly, but Jack and Emma knew it was just a facade. Soon, they received a report of another person missing. The trail led to an abandoned house on the outskirts of town. Jack and Emma went there but found nothing. The house was empty and dilapidated, but Jack felt something was off. He inspected each room, trying not to miss any detail. Emma took pictures of everything that might be useful. Michael, pretending to be concerned, offered his help in the search and led them on a false trail. He claimed to have seen a suspicious person in another part of town, and Jack and Emma went there only to find another dead end. Jack and Emma continued the investigation, following Michael's directions. However, they began to realize they were being led astray. Every new clue turned out to be fake, every witness unreliable. Michael felt confident. He enjoyed his role as a helper, knowing the police would never suspect him. A year passed, but the killer remained at large. Jack and Emma didn't lose hope and kept searching for clues. Michael was always nearby, helping them while skillfully misleading them. Jack began to suspect that someone close to them was not as simple as they seemed. Emma, in turn, started noticing strange coincidences and missing evidence. She decided to conduct her own investigation and began to follow Michael, trying to find any proof of his involvement. Jack and Emma were getting closer to the truth. Chapter 3. The Next Step. On the eve of the next Halloween, Jack and Emma decided to set up surveillance at the coffee shop. They knew Michael must have planned something for the next day. Emma installed hidden cameras and microphones to monitor his movements. Halloween morning arrived. The town was preparing for the celebration, the streets decorated, and people were putting on costumes. Jack and Emma watched the coffee shop from a car parked nearby. "He won't be able to hide," Jack said. "We'll catch him as soon as he leaves the coffee shop." However, Michael didn't leave. He stayed inside, serving customers and maintaining a facade of normalcy. Jack began to doubt his suspicions, but Emma insisted on waiting. In the evening, Michael closed the coffee shop and exited through the back door. Jack and Emma hurried after him. They followed him through dark alleys, careful not to reveal their presence. Chapter 4. Closing in. Jack and Emma continued their investigation, gathering every small detail that could point to the real killer. They reviewed all the old cases, compared the facts, and concluded that someone very close to them was involved. Each new day brought more evidence that they were on the right track. They systematically checked everyone who had access to the crime scenes, everyone who was in any way connected to the victims. One investigation led them to an old house, long abandoned but still giving them chills. This was the house where a tragedy had occurred, changing one boy's life forever. Jack and Emma entered the house, feeling the cold and silence filled with old pain and fear. They found old photographs, documents, records. Among them was a photograph of a boy standing next to a man and a woman. The man was grim and stern. The woman looked exhausted and oppressed. The The boy's face, in contrast, was calm and thoughtful, but his eyes held hidden pain. "This is the family," Emma said, examining the photo. "This boy disappeared after the fire." Jack carefully looked at the photograph and noticed a small note on the back. "Forever together, Michael, 1968. "It's him," Jack whispered. Michael was that boy. They realized they had finally found the key evidence, but still didn't have enough proof to accuse him directly. They needed to keep searching, but now they knew who to focus on. Chapter 5. The Mask Removed. On Halloween night, Jack and Emma decided to set a trap. They told Michael about an allegedly important find and suggested meeting at the abandoned house. Michael agreed, but suspecting his plan was uncovered, decided to bring a knife hidden in his sleeve. When Michael entered the house, Jack and Emma were ready. They watched as he began preparing for another murder. Suddenly, Jack turned on the light, exposing Michael in his true form. "Game over, Michael," Jack said. "We know everything." Realizing he was caught, Michael tried to run but was stopped by Emma. She held him until the police arrived, but Michael managed to break free and, drawing his knife, slashed Emma's shoulder. At that moment, Jack reacted and shot Michael in the leg. Chapter 6. The Final Act. The police arrived just in time and arrested Michael at the crime scene. Jack and Emma stood watching as he was taken away. They knew the case was finally closed. "We did it," Emma said. "Yes, but how many more cases like this are out there?" Jack replied. "We need to keep fighting." Months passed after Michael's arrest. The town gradually returned to normal life. Jack and Emma continued their work, but every Halloween, they remembered the horrors they had experienced. "We must remember that children need love and respect," Jack said, standing on the street on Halloween night. "Otherwise, any parent can raise a monster." Emma nodded, understanding the importance of his words. They stood in silence, watching the town celebrate, knowing that Michael's shadow no longer loomed over them. The end. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel and don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you for your attention.